Welcome back to Nick Comic Corner Classic Non Classics. This is episode number 1872 and double shot number 1766. I have two Marvel trades from two of my favorite superheroes. First up is from my third favorite Marvel superhero. Well, it does feature Captain America. This is called The Marvels Project. This is written by Ed Brubaker. One of a few miniseries he ever did for Marvel, because when people think of Daredevil, when people think of Ed Brubaker, these fun books come to mind. Captain America, Daredevil, obviously. People love. I'm sure people love that run. There's also one for Kenny X-Men he worked on, and Secret Avengers. But he worked Captain America for a long period of time. As a matter of fact, he actually started with Captain America. Now, this is an 8-issue limited series. I think this is the longest miniseries that Ed Brubaker did for Marvel. Yes, this mostly it just explores on some unseen stuff we saw from the Golden Age stories. This book has a feature. It focuses on Captain America, Bucky Barnes, Angel, Namor, the Human Torch. By the way, they actually have their fighting here, which is, a reference to their classic fight from the 40s. We have the character called the U-Man, who was an Atlantean, who actually was trying to be against his own people in order to basically fight for the Nazis. Yeah, this book is pure awesomeness at its finest. By far, one of Ed Brubaker's best books. Now, I should point out, though, yes, he does do the writing here. And you're probably thinking, who does the awesome artwork? Well, the main artwork in the interior is done by Steve Epting, who does a really good job. We also focus in here on Angel. Well, the Golden Age Angel. These are your artists for the covers for these issues. You have Steve Epting, Draw Perillo, Steve McNiven, Dexter Vines, Dean White, Justin Pusser, Phil Jimenez, Maury Howell, Alan Davis, Mark Farmer, and Javier Rodriguez. There's a variant trade done by Ray Hughes. The 939 Daily Bugle, which I don't remember me here. The writer for that one is John Wright Thomas, all with Jess Howard, Stella Johnson, Dugan Trina, and Joseph York. Artwork by Chance Foolish. Yeah. It's just basically a good, like if you're going to look for a good Marvel story set during World War II, check this book out. It is so freaking good. Like reading this book, it oozes of awesomeness at its finest. I love stories like this. Yeah, this also features, Toro, a character called the Phantom Bullet. You're probably thinking, Toro. Yeah, he's the sidekick of Human Torch. Phantom Bullet, I don't remember who he is. And, of course, Namor. We don't exactly see the formation of the invaders here. No, because I think Ed Brubaker probably already knew that stories are told, or we don't necessarily need to tell it again. But this is like more World War II style stories. This type of series I kind of wish was ongoing. Though we kind of get something similar to this nowadays with the Marvel series right now. But this book, so good. Like, if you like the Marvel series by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross, if you like that style, check this book out. By Ed Brubaker is so good. I give this book a ranking of a 10 out of 10. It is so awesome. Plus, there's the present day where Captain America meets the Angel's grandson. Yes. Also, the weird thing about the Angel is there's actually two different Golden Age Angels. There's Robert and Thomas. One of them basically fought the Nazis. The other fought crime at home. Yep. And there's also Human Torch's creator, Professor Phyllis Harton. He does briefly appear in this miniseries. But yeah, this is just so good. Love it. Alright, next up it is a classic story. Well, mostly from when I'm reading comics. A story that came out roughly over a decade ago. We have Wolverine, Enemy of the State. This was a 13-part story from Wolverine Volume 2. Released in... I had to look it up in here, excuse me. Let's see. Okay, the Enemy State story arc was released from December. Was from, released from 2004, and was concluded in April. Well, they say here April of the first half of the storyline was concluded in April of 5, but there's still more issues of the storyline. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the second half of this story arc is known as Age of S.H.I.E.L.D., and this lasted up until issue 31. They also included 32 in here because Mark Millar wrote that too. Now, the thing is, the artwork in this storyline is done by Jarmia Jr. Issue 32 is not done by him at all. It's the only one of the issues not done by him. This actually is a past story done by Carrie Andrews. Mm-hmm. It's just a World War II story featuring Wolverine. Mm-hmm. That's simply the reason for it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now this storyline here does introduce one important character who we still see this very day, the Gorgon. Yep, the Gorgon. Mm-hmm. Yep, that is who pretty much in the way makes first appearances in this story arc. And he's currently dead. Yeah, they killed him off during the events of X of Swords. About 2 years ago. So yeah, he's been dead now for 2 years. He's been killed off twice, surprisingly, over the years. And if you're curious though, what did the Gorgon look like in his debut appearance? Now here's Dominic Jr. drawing Wolverine. It's okay. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Dominic Jr. because I think he just has a little bit too much shading on some of his artwork. But I think Wolverine, I think if it's okay with his art style. And here's the Gorgon wearing a suit. Yes. And here he's not wearing his shades, but he does basically have a blindfold later on. Now, the reason why, because whenever he looks at somebody, they turn to stone. He's basically kind of like a male Medusa. Yeah, pretty much what they did with this character is that they took the Medusa from Greek mythology and made it into a guy. And made him Japanese. Yeah, and he's the leader of the Hand. Well, one of the many leaders of the Hand. Yes, one of many. And in this very story arc, Wolverine is brainwashed by the Hand to commit murder. Who does he kill? A guy called the Hornet. The original. Well, the second person took up the name the Hornet because the original was Peter Parker. Now, here's the weird thing. When they found out the Hornet died in this story arc, people thought that this was Spider-Man. No, seriously. They thought it was Spider-Man. Also, Elektra appears as a recurring character in the story arc. And this story arc here is heavily referenced years later in the Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, when apparently it's revealed that the aircraft carrier, the helicarrier featured in this book is called the Blackhawk. Excuse me. Yes. And of course, Captain America himself is not Captain America. Nick Fury is heavily involved in the storyline. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they also apparently killed North Star in this story, but don't worry, he does come back. I think he's dead temporarily. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's dead for like 1 or 2 issues and he gets resurrected by the Hand. They also have a time they kill off Baron Wolfgang von Strucker in the story arc. But, yeah. Yeah, the guy who was basically... Yeah, he got killed off pretty much 3 issues in the storyline. And people thought he was Spider-Man. No, seriously. They thought he was. Mm-hmm. We're used to an old lady who is, get this, Baron Wolfgang von Strucker's wife. Yes, for some reason. Oh, yeah, let's have an old man basically be our bad guy. And then let's have basically his wife be an old lady. Yes, she's introduced here. Yeah, and basically when the Hornet died, his niece basically tried to kill Wolverine's daughter, but didn't work out too well, and they just didn't do much with her after that. So they called her the Red Hornet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she only appeared once. Yeah, once. Now, if you're curious, though, here's the weird thing about Elizabeth, Elizabeth Bonstrucker. She gets killed off by issue 30. Basically, toward the very end of the storyline, they pretty much kill her off. And unlike her husband, who keeps coming back to life, she doesn't. She never comes back. She stays dead. She's been dead now for good gosh, like 17 years she's been dead. And she's never brought back at all. But it's a storyline that's heavily referenced been a few times because this was basically a very popular storyline. Now, here's the weird thing when I was getting into comics. This story arc was actually going on at the very time I got into comics. I'm not kidding. Like, now I got the comics, this storyline happened. I didn't read till years later, but damn, this storyline was really good. And it's definitely a storyline that people know of. It's one of two times Mark Millar ever did a run with Wolverine. The other course was the original Old Man Logan story arc, which later led to years later to have an ongoing series with the character. The book is pretty good. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Mainly because I'm not really the biggest fan of basically this artwork. But it's kind of weird, though, that this book is referenced several times over the years. Heck, there's even an in-name only sequel for All New Wolverine called Enemy of State 2, which that featured basically her being bringing back the trigger scent and her trying to kill off a whole town and her being framed for it. But in the case of Wolverine, was clearly brainwashed. She was brainwashed. Nope. It was in-name only sequel, just very similar. Though if you read this whole thing, it's mostly two story arcs. The Enemy of State story arc started with 20, wrapped up with 25. 2631 was the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. story arc. And this was also during this run, they added Wolverine as part of the Marvel Knights line. Yes, I think by 33 they dropped the Marvel Knights logo from the book. No, they still kept it. I'm trying to think, when did they drop it? Because I remember they dropped it at some point when it comes to Wolverine. Yes, I remember they dropped it at some point. It's not with 40. Was it 35? Maybe one more issue here. Not that one. Okay, 39 is when they... What was the last issue they had under the logo for the Marvel Knights. Yeah, because 40, the logo is dropped from the title. Yep. 20 was basically the start of this one. Of basically that logo. And if you're curious still, Oh, my mistake. Apparently it started with Greg Rucka. It was probably relaunched because part of the Marvel Knights line. So basically for the first 39 issues, it was part of the Marvel Knights line. I reviewed a good chunk of this volume so far. I haven't reviewed the entirety of it yet, per se. No, I haven't. And if you're curious to like how much is really left to review, well, thanks to doing this, I have pretty much reviewed the entire volume. Yes. As of right now, I've read almost the entire thing, except for the Greg Rucka issues. The first 19 issues I have not reviewed yet. So the Marvel Knights logo did officially start to issue 13. That's when it started with. My mistake was 13. Look at the logo covers. So it started with Greg Rucka's last story he did for the book. That's when they added the logo, and then they dropped it at 39. So as like I said, as of right now, all that's left to go for Wolverine for Volume 3 is just the Greg Rucka issues, because everything else for this volume has been covered. And I do mean everything has been covered. There is nothing really much left to go for this volume. Nope, there is nothing left. Well, aside from the first 19 issues. Yeah. And there is 2 annuals. Yeah. The first annual, as far as I can tell for 2 annuals, I believe the second annual has been collected. I don't think the first one has. No, I don't think so. So yeah, not much to say about these 2 books. I'm glad I get a chance to do this because, well, as also right now, I'm done reviewing Mark Millar's time with Wolverine. I mean, this arc was actually pretty good. I do like Old Man Logan. Oh yeah, I think no, he didn't do the Civil War one tie. No, I think that was Mark Guggenheim who did that one. Yeah, weirdly enough, for this volume for Wolverine, like, it's kind of hard to track down this volume a bit. Yeah, there's complete collections for Danny Way and Jason Aaron, who apparently after Mark Millar left, these 2 guys took turns basically writing this volume until the very end. Though Mark Millar did come back. And Greg Rucka's one has been collected a couple times. First in 3 individual trades, and then finally a complete collection. This book here is mostly a complete collection for Enemy of State. The entire, well, mostly 12 issue story arc. 32 is kind of like a, excuse me, it's mostly put like a bonus issue for Mark Millar's run for this story arc, and it has nothing to do with Enemy of State at all. It's just a World War II era story featuring Wolverine. That's really the purpose of it. Do I recommend checking this out if you're a Wolverine fan? Yes, definitely. Because, like, aside from the fact it's referenced, does it really play a role in the Wolverine books coming afterwards? Not really, no, because the next thing that happened right after the story wrapped up was the House of M tie-in and stuff leading into, well, stuff with his son. But it's a very self-contained story. Yes, it's referenced in a few books, yes, but at the time, nope, it's very self-contained. Though the aircraft carrier was not named until the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. storyline, the Black Hawk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, I should point out, though, they actually had a Elektra, who was part of the storyline, too. She pretty much in the way. So yeah, it actually first appeared in this very story arc. And apparently was taken down by, well, Elektra. Of course, they brought it back for that story arc. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, yes. I should definitely show this off here. 27 is actually a nod to Jim Steranko cover. Because it's Wolverine part of S.H.I.E.L.D. What was that? That was 29. I think I missed it. Here it is. Right here. Oh, by the way, that's how Jeremy Jr. Charles Nick Fury Jr. Nick Senior, excuse me. Yep. But yeah, that's a nod to Jim Steranko cover. I think it's not the Strange Tales. I think like it was Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 4. Yeah. So, like I said, good story arc. Yeah, the cover is done by Greg Land. Yep. So they kill off some members of the Hand in this very issue here. Like, apparently they kill off the Spot, even though he doesn't die here. Nope, he doesn't. It's weird, though, that somehow he's involved with, of all people, Hydra. It is by far one of the weirdest things. Yes, the Spot, a Spider-Man villain. There's also Snide. Yeah, he gets killed off in the story arc in issue 27. There is Leapfrog. Yeah, a character named Leapfrog. He's a character from the most recent volume of Daredevil. He's actually a guy from the first arc that Bendis created, and he was basically killed by Wolverine issue 27. Mm-hmm. There's also a character named Poison, who is from the Web of Spider-Man book, and she got killed off in issue 27. She's a Steve Gerber character. Yep. There's also Shook. He was a character created by Howard Mankey, Jr. Howard Mankey. But John Mankey Jr. created this guy, so I'm sure John Mankey Jr. had no problem killing this guy off. And there's also Vibro, who is currently alive now. Yeah, it's weird though that him, Vibro, and the Spot are still alive, and everyone else playing this book all died. Yeah, and of course, it was like a massive thing, basically trying to attack the helicarrier. He also has a group known as the Dawn of the White Light. Yeah, and their group no longer exists anymore. Yeah. But not much I'll say about these two trades. They're both really good. Okay, so that's a particular view. I might have time to do one more video, and that'll probably be a review for Kamen Rider. Yep, next video.